There's Miss Collins. She's there. How are you, Miss Collins?
Good. Enjoyed this day.
It's nice, ain't it?
It was.
I think we're going to do the landfill first right here soon. Got about 1 more minute. While everybody is here, if you've got your agenda.
Jerry will be right on.
Okay. Well, I sent the agenda out a minute ago. I turned that in Wednesday last week, and I don't know. Some of you said they didn't get it, so I emailed it to everybody just a few minutes ago. All right, it's 6 o'clock. So I guess we'll, landfill meeting will start right now at 6 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. So we'll do a roll call. Gwen, do you want to do that?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Gary Bailey.
Here.
Sonja Collar.
Present.
Nancy Brown.
Here.
Layla Ward.
Present.
Mark Tester.
Here.
Jerry Prophet. Mark Blevins.
Here.
Kelly Collins.
Here.
Everyone's present but Jerry Prophet.
All right. Can we have I need a motion for approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion was made by Mr. Blevins, second by Nancy Brown. Call the roll.
Gary Bailey.
Yes.
Sonja Collar.
Just 1 second. I just got it. Yes.
Nancy Brown.
Yes.
Layla Ward.
Yes.
Mark Tester.
Yes.
Jerry Prophet. Mark Blevins.
Yes.
Kelly Collins.
Yes.
Did Jerry just join on by phone?
I'm here.
Okay. Jerry is now present.
I'm present, I think.
All right. What we didn't have a meeting last month, so I've sent everybody the minutes from February's meeting. So I guess we're going to need acceptance of February's minutes since we didn't have last month.
I'll make acceptance. I'll make a motion.
Motion by Jerry Prophet.
I'll second the motion.
Second by Mark Blevins. All right, I guess we'll call the roll.
Gary Bailey.
Yes.
Sonja Collar.
Yes.
Nancy Brown.
Yes.
Layla Ward.
Yes.
Mark Tester.
Yes.
Jerry Prophet.
Yes.
Mark Blevins.
Yes.
Kelly Collins.
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any public comments? I don't see anybody on the public. I see Mr. McAbee is with us. How are you, sir? Okay, we'll go back straight into old business. Update on the Beller. Benny, are you on here?
Yes, sir.
All right, can you give us update on that?
Well, the pit's put in, concrete's poured. the electricians are going to have the disconnect put in this week, and the baler should be delivered May 31st.
Benny, are there any way we can get that faster?
Well, I've actually called them and told them all of our work is done, so they know we're ready for them. So it's kind of in their ballpark now, Gary.
All right. I went down there the other day at lunch and took some pictures. I'm going to email them to everybody on this board to see. You've done an excellent job of cutting that pit out. I mean, they done a good job of really getting that ready. So other than that, this baler, will it do the plastic also, Benny?
Yes, sir, it will.
Do you want to update them on what you was talking about with the plastic, maybe?
Gary, I don't know what the
I think
problem
right now.
You're getting lots of feedback. You can't hear what you say.
Like
Somebody's
everybody.
got something else on.
Hey, Gary.
Yes, sir. No, I think we lost him. Anyhow, the balers are going in. Like you said, it'd be in May. It is dug. It's already concreted, ready to set it in there. They've got to do something. Cardboard is plumb running out the door. My understanding, this baler will also so that will be good for the Eastman thing if we do decide to go that way. Plus, it'll take some load off of this stuff at the city.
Gary, you're getting a lot of feedback.
It's somebody's got a mic on then.
Yeah, everyone needs to mute and just let one person talk at a time. That's what the feedback is.
Okay. Benny, are you back?
I'm here.
All right. Do you want to update them on the building?
Gary, it keeps muting me. I don't know what's going on. I'm on my phone here. You still there?
Yes, we're here.
Okay, the building will be delivered May 26th. And then we have to wait on the contractor to come and install it.
Do you know roughly how long they said it would take?
I think he told me 8 weeks from the time the contract was signed or the check they received the money for the building.
Uh-huh.
So like I say, May 26th, they're going to deliver it, and then they'll send me an email to set up a time for the contractor to come out and look at the site to install it.
Okay. Anybody else got anything on the baler or the building?
No, but I'd like to ask Benny a question.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Benny, I know this may not be the right time. I guess it is. Did Blue Ridge keep bringing their trash over to the landfill?
Well, they actually left, and I think some of their trucks have started coming in within this week. And I don't know if it's just been because it was muddy at the other landfill or what was going on, but we've seen some stragglers come in this week from Blue Ridge.
Okay. Thank you, Benny.
Yes, sir.
Under
Mr.
new
Bailey.
business, do we have any new business anybody'd like to discuss?
Mr. Bailey,
Yes, sir.
if it's possible, you reckon Benny could contact those people about the baler delivery and see if, I know you don't want to aggravate them, but if we get that thing pushed up even a week, it would help. So I think it'd be well worth someone contacting them and asking them.
Mr. Tester, I actually sent them an email to let them know that we had completed our task, that they could bring it at any time.
Benny, my understanding, we completed a month early. Is that
Yeah, we're way ahead of them.
Okay. Well, I'm with Mr. Tester. Can you call him one time and tell him we are ready?
Yes, sir. I'll call them in the morning and just tell them that the commission wanted me to ask them again.
All right.
Don't care a bit to.
Thank you, Benny.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Under new business, I'd like to bring something up and see what you all think about this. Benny's going to have the baler down there, and he's going to have a building. And loading the bales, he's having to use a bobcat. With all this COVID money coming up, I had him to go on and roughly get some prices of what a tow motor with a clamp will cost and send to you all for discussion. Now, I'm not asking for no vote or anything right now. I just want you to consider something which this will help him greatly when the time comes up. See what you all think and where and when, because I believe we might be able to pay for this with the COVID money, and then we could put our money back into our account. That was sent with an email for what a tow motor with a clamp cost. Because right now, my understanding is he has to, even if they're bales, he has to move them with a set of forks or a clamp. And I think the tow motor would greatly, greatly increase his speed. Plus, if we do start baling the plastic, it's going to have something to hold it together. Benny, would you like to discuss that?
As far as the bale clamp goes, Gary, every one of the sites that I have visited, they use a bale clamp for the way that this machine spits the bales out. It spits it out directly onto the floor. So the bale clamp, you can come in and grab it midways of the bale instead of having to try to get your forks to go underneath the bale. That's what every one that I have visited so far is using is a bale clamp on a tow motor.
All right. I know we would have to vote on this as the full commission, and they'll probably make us get some bids or look at the state contract. But with this COVID stuff, if it is available, that's why I went on and had this sent to all of you all on this committee so you can start looking at it and see what you think and us be ahead of this. Because once this baler goes in, if that money's available, I want us to get him one as quick as we can. So other than that, we'll move to director's report.
Gary, I guess I'll let it stand with us doing the pit and all that stuff that we've taken care of as far as the director's report. I've had a job application out online now for about 4 or 5 weeks to get somebody to come drive a truck. Seems like nobody wants to come drive a truck. So we're I don't know what we need to do on that other than look at what the county pays the people to work here.
Benny, do you think that's because of what we pay, or that's because of if you stay at home, you're getting a check right now?
Well, there you go again. You stay at home, you're getting a check. But, as far as our department goes, we work in some of the nastiest, worst conditions you'd ever want to work in, to be honest with you. And I just don't know if they want to come and drive a truck for $11 an hour. That's the problem.
All right. Well, anybody got any comments on that?
Some of the tree trimming people have been experiencing the same thing, Gary, trying to find somebody with a CDL license, being able to drive and stuff like that. They can find help and they can find people, but when you have the CDL requirements there, it's hard to find help. It really is.
And that's a big deal with having CDLs is, coming and using that license for $11 an hour.
Can we check on how much the road department pays their truck drivers?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Let's I'll check onto that for you, and we'll see what they make their drivers. See if we can raise them with their rates or comparable. That's a good comment there, Miss Kohler. All right, let's go to commissioner comments. Anybody got anything?
Gary, I wanted to ask Benny about the Black Bottom Recycling Center. I've got several calls about it of, when or what's going on.
Miss Collins, as far as to address that, had 2 drivers out at once sick, and I called Danny Hilbert at the city to let him know they was out sick. So they was out, I think, 3 days there, and he called me and told me he was shutting it down because we couldn't keep it cleaned out. So he's not opening it back up, and that's up to him. Those are his sites. We will service them if he opens them back up.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was totally city open and closing or what, so I'll
No, the city closed it. The city was the very ones that closed it this time.
Okay. All right, thank you. I'll make that clear to some people. Thanks.
Yes,
Benny,
ma'am.
was that because of plastic or cardboard, or just we couldn't keep it
No,
cleaned
well,
out fast enough? Or
and I tell you too, on Danny's defense, he may have, about 4 days before this happened, I sent Danny some pictures. Somebody put right at 1,800 pounds of hardwood floor in the cardboard dumpster. Hardwood flooring in the cardboard dumpsters.
okay,
So that may be another reason that he closed them down, is people don't, that's for cardboard. It's not to get rid of your trash.
all right. Anybody else? All right, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting. Oh, I will make one thing. I will be emailing you all the pictures of the pit sometime this week, okay? Of everything that he cut out and dug down there. So that way you'll still have them.
Gary, I just want to say I've been down there and Benny's done an excellent job. It's a lot of work. He's had to do a lot of switching around and moving cardboard from place to place. And I appreciate your work, Benny.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Kohler, I'll have to say, I believe he's done that for less than half of what we really quoted it for. I mean, he's done well. Anybody else entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Have a motion. Second.
Second.
Second by Miss Collins. Miss Collins. Kelly Collins. All right. I guess we'll move into education.
Thank y'all.
Now, thank you, Beanie. Miss Layla, are you there?
I'm here. Good evening. We'll go ahead and start. When do you want to call the roll?
Layla Ward,
Present.
Nancy Brown,
Present.
Mark Tester,
Here.
Jerry Prophet,
Here.
Mark Blevins,
Here.
Gary Bailey,
Here.
Sonja Culler,
Present.
Kelly Collins.
Here.
Okay. Does anyone have any additions or corrections for the agenda? If not, I'll look for a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Blevins and a second by Ms. Brown. All in favor of approving the agenda, just say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, seeing none. I did not include the February minutes with my email today. If anyone needs to see them, I could go ahead and send them to you now, or we can approve the minutes next month.
I'm fine approving next month with you, Miss Ward. Everybody else is.
I'm fine with that, Miss Layla.
Perfect. We'll approve February and April's minutes next month. I don't think there's any public on the line, but I'll go ahead and ask for any public comment for education. Seeing none, I'll go ahead and turn the floor over to Dr. McAbee and let him just update the committee really quick, and if anyone has any questions for him.
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a great Easter yesterday. Money can't buy the weather and the day that we had yesterday, so it was good on my end, and I hope y'all had a good one as well.
It's been a beautiful couple of days.
It has, definitely. So just a few quick updates today. Is something really to brag about. I went over to UNACA. Mr. Johnson invited me to come over there and sit with his class as they gave out the Skills USA Awards. That's for a lot of the CTE things that we do in Carter County. And we had multiple. I'm going to get him and Mr. Arnett at Hampton and different ones to type up all the state champions. But it looked like Carter County had more than any. He had in his auto collision, I think there a couple that were state champions. One girl came in second, but then there was several different things at Hampton. So a lot to brag on with those CTE programs today. They gave out those awards over a Zoom meeting from the state. So I'm very proud of that. Let's see, summer school. Let me check off things as I go through it. Summer school, we've had 650 kids sign up so far for that, and that's K through 8. So that's several kids, and we're excited about our summer school program. Mr. McLean and Dr. Boone, Dr. Bowers has been working hard on that. And so we're going to try to help these kids because of all the days they've missed in COVID. I don't have to explain anything to you. You know these things. Try to help those kids get caught up. High school was not put in the plan by the state, but we're wanting to do that anyway for our kids here in Carter County. We're going to try to use some of those ESSER 3.0 funds for that. So there is a summer school plan for high school kids as well. But that's not fully planned as the K through 8 one is, but it should be coming. So that's our summer school. We've got some good news about BEP. I went to Nashville last week and met with superintendents, and they brought in some legislators. They are feeling very confident now that they're going to pass its House Bill 777, if you know any of the representatives. It's the hold harmless on BEP. They felt like that it had a lot of support, and that Governor Lee had made the comment, if it comes across his desk, he'll sign it. So what that'll do is go back to 2019, our enrollment, and give us that much money on BEP. And that would be huge, because we all know we've lost kids in every county. Carter County is one of them. I think they told us about 35,000 kids across the state were down because of COVID and parents keeping their kids home and things like that. So if they pass that hold harmless, and if Governor Lee signs that into legislation and law, that'll help us tremendously. It'll only be for 1 year, but we'll take advantage of it. We're still wanting to work with the commission, and I've spoke to some of you and been given some positive comments and thinkings about that workforce development building, to kind of put a centralized CTE program over there. With this ESSER 3.0 money, that's one of the things my board has been talking about wanting to invest in for sure. So I can go into that a little bit too. The ESSER 3 states that you have to put 20% of the money toward student gap closure. So we received $14,995,000. So let's say 15 million. So roughly 4 million of that needs to go to gap closure. That leaves 11 million. So the board, as you know, voted a couple of months ago not to close any schools, consolidate any of those things. That's not what I'm getting into here. But they do feel that workforce development building, that site, that central location, and it's already there, would be a great place maybe to put a CTE centralized location. So those things are in discussion right now. I've talked with Mayor Woodby. I see that she's on now, and some of you commissioners as we cross paths. And so I think that could be something we could put money toward if y'all are willing to work with us on that. PCAT and Northeast State are very much interested in it. And so I think it'd be a great thing for the kids. We're working with, I've got a good friend actually, Dr. Kennedy from the University of Virginia. He's a scheduling guru. He's scheduled different things. There's one particular school that I'm going to reach out to this week in New York. They have 14 different schedules or 14 different pathways that kids can go and get high school diploma and a 2-year degree on the same day. So when they graduate high school, they also have a 2-year degree waiting on them because of the way they schedule the school and that kind of thing. So for example, a kid can, you know how it works with nurses. You can be a CNA, pays decent, but not great. You can be a PN, practical nurse, pays a little better, and an RN pays really great. He has it set up such that kids coming out of high school, if they'll go an extra summer during their junior or senior year, if they'll go a summer, they'll graduate with an RN. Now that's big time. So we're working with Dr. Kennedy to work on some schedules for us where kids could be getting pipe fitting degrees, welding degrees, RN degrees, that kind of thing the day they graduate. So that's the reason I'd like to get something. If it's not workforce development, I've got to get somewhere and something to get all of our 4 high schools together, because this is an opportunity to really let these kids be ahead of the game. And we can schedule that easy enough that they can graduate with a high school diploma and a 2-year degree. So that takes me into the last thing, and I don't mean to take up too much time, and that is middle college. This is an initiative from the state, and Northeast State Community College is one of the few community colleges. Well, there's some, but I shouldn't say few, but it's one of them that's been approved to do middle college. And what you can do there is with the transfer pathway, those will go to any 4-year college in the state of Tennessee. And they have to, by law, accept every credit the kid takes. So again, starting their junior year, if they want to go into middle college, they get on this pathway. And when they graduate, they also graduate with a associate's degree that day. They'll transfer to a 4-year university. Now, here's the thing. The state gives $1,000 a semester scholarship to every student who takes it. The tuition roughly is about $2,000. So that leaves $1,000 a semester. And so I'm talking to my board about trying to fund some of those things, because we're talking about not just being a pre-K-12 school in Carter County, we're talking about pre-K-14 and trying to get some things put in the budget. And I'd love for you commissioners to think and discuss and maybe meet with me or question me here, whatever, about if the commission might want to partner with helping with some of those tuition fees for those students that meet the qualifications. Because what that would do, they would graduate Hampton, Unaka, Cloudland, or Happy Valley with an associate's degree. Then they've not used a penny of their lottery money. That could go to wherever they transfer, and they could literally, legitimately be getting a 4-year degree almost for nothing. Now, a concern that I always hear across different districts that do these things is, are you hot housing kids? Are you trying to just shove them out into the workforce too soon? And the data doesn't show that. The data shows that if you do these middle college programs, it really acclimates them to the college life. They've got extra support built in at the high school and the community college level. They tend to finish their 4-year degree at a higher rate. And just me being a common sense, practical person, they're going to, if they find out that's not what's for them, they're 20. Hopefully they don't have a passel full of kids yet, and they've got that degree. And if they love it, great. If they don't, they still have a lot of their life ahead of them to decide on something else. So middle college, and then everything we're trying to do with TCAP Northeast State, that's where my heart is at right now with these kids, trying to get them employable and making a living wage. So I'll hush and I'll entertain any questions or comments you guys may have for me about those items or anything different that you might have questions about.
Ms. Warren,
Yes, Mr. Tester,
I have a question for Mr. McAfee, please.
go ahead, sir.
Mr. McAfee, I understand whenever that everyone looked at, trying to save money and put schools together and this and that they were unaware of this $11 million that was coming. And I hope that we would, look at all the options here, all back on the table to try to make sure that we make the best of this money. Of course, I know that's up to the school board. It's not but that's just my thoughts and comments, that we may have an opportunity here to have a good school there built somewhere, and someone else basically pay for it. And I'd like to also say, through all this pandemic stuff, the teachers and the whole school system has done an outstanding job. And thank you very much.
Well, Mr. Tester, thank you. And I agree with you. The teachers, the teachers' aides, the cafeteria workers, I mean, it's hit them in the face more than anybody, probably my bus drivers. They've done great. So I know they will appreciate you saying that for them. And we had a robust discussion last Thursday. The school board met, they called it a retreat, and it'd been published on the website, you know, that they were going to get together. And that was the discussion. Probably 90% of the discussion was around that $11 million and how to not waste it and do exactly what you're talking about. So there were some ideas floated around, nothing settled, obviously, but I consider it a great conversation that was had. Some what I consider some difficult conversations between folk took place. And, you know, I agree with you. We can't let the $11 million go to the wayside. So thank you very much.
Well, Mr. Blevins disappeared. I thought he had something. There you are. Mr. Blevins, did you have a question as well?
Yes, Mr. Malcolby, are you going to be meeting in Zoom next month or in person?
All right, so the way I understand it from Mr. Garland is we'll be in person, but there's only so many that can be allowed in because we still try to social distance. And it's also my understanding that we will continue to do that. And I apologize, Gary can talk more about the technology and
the live stream, I think. Yeah.
We will always live stream so everybody can see and hear what is said. But there'll be a certain amount of folks who will be allowed in if they want to come, Mr. Blevins. But obviously, in that either in our boardroom or that building over at technology, we can only allow so many to come in.
Okay. Do you know? I know there was some discussion where they was going to meet at, if it was going to be at the boardroom or up at the other place that you're meeting at the present.
So it's my understanding that for the time being, we're going to stay over at the technology center.
Okay, thank you.
We've and one of the reasons why, there's many, but one is we've been getting in a lot of technology, supplies, books, everything. And when they deliver those, we've been getting Rick and different ones to put them in our boardroom. So it's pretty packed most days with items from this ESSER money, and you just couldn't have a meeting in there.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Actually, the training center is a little bigger than the boardroom, and the actual old boardroom at central office isn't set up for us to do the virtual the way we've got it set up in the training center. So we can actually hold more in the training center plus be able to virtualize it there. So.
Yep. Any other thoughts or questions for me?
I got one more, Mr. Malcolby.
Yes, sir.
On this summer school,
yeah.
How long will this be going on? How many days or weeks or whatever will this be going on?
So it's basically a month at the K-8 level. And so what'll happen is, I'm trying to get it back in my mind how Mr. McLean and Dr. Boone explained it, because they are the ones heading this up. So Monday through Thursday is pretty much 6 hours. And they passed a law. They had that special session in February. And they said summer school for K-8 had to be 6 hours. So we feed them, we give them snacks, we do lots of things Monday through Thursday. Friday is a field trip day where we try to take them to whatever we've kind of been talking about monkeying around with. We're going to take them somewhere, make it a bit more fun, obviously feed them again, and Fridays will be our field trip day. What we're discussing for high school is 4 weeks, but that's a bit different because if a kid only needs Algebra 1, there'll be a week out of that month where that kid can come and get Algebra 1, or if he needs his English, it would be a different week. He could show up and get his English. So high school will be set up a little bit different, and it'll only be about 4 hours because the discussion was high schoolers, teenagers, you know, in the summertime when they can go fish and get on the lake, they're not going to spend 6 hours. So we're going to try to cut it down to about 4.
So you're going to specialize the high school.
Yes,
They'll be attending for what they need.
absolutely. Yes, sir.
I think that's real good. Are they going to be running the buses during this time, or is it going to be parents drop off and pick up?
So K-8 definitely is bus drivers. I mean, we're going to run bus routes. I've already met with Wayne about that, and that was part of the legislation. We have to do that. High school, we're going to try to do the best we can. I think we will be able to work it out. For example, over at Hampton, Mr. Bradley there has his CDL. He said if he needed to, he could do something with a bus to kind of get some of his kids there if needed that couldn't have a way. So if a kid wants to come, we're going to make sure they get there.
I understand that. I think this is a good opportunity for a lot of kids. I think it'd be a real good job to do and get them back up to date. I've
Yes,
got
sir.
definitely going to go if you have it. You have a
Yep.
problem. And one class anyhow. But I appreciate your time, Mr. Malcolm. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Mr. McAfee, Jerry Prophet.
Hey,
Hey, how you doing today, sir?
good. How you doing, sir?
I couldn't stand it if I was any better. I have a question now. All this good news I've been hearing is just great. Has or will this be publicized in the Star or press to let people know or make them aware of the possibilities of doing or continuing their education throughout the year?
Absolutely. So we've put a lot of that on our website as far as summer school and all those things. The other part that just happened today, the kids winning the state championships from the multiple high schools. Tomorrow we'll be back in session. So I was going to reach out to the CTE folk and obviously Mr. Taylor at the central office, get them to compile all of that, all that we've accomplished, all that we've won, and put it into one document, and then put that on social media, call the news stations. If they run it for us, good. If they don't, good, but definitely get it in the newspapers and things like that.
You know, that sounds really, I believe that's a necessary issue to look into in order to spread this news throughout the county.
Absolutely.
Makes me want to go. I'd like to go back to school with all these freebies we're getting.
Yeah, absolutely. I told my buddy, I went in to see my mother over the weekend for Easter. I said, if I go back to school, and I don't plan on it, but if I did, it would be for HVAC. And that's in all sincerity. You get that degree and you're set for life. You're making good money.
If the kids can only realize this, what
Right.
opportunity lies for them, I just hope they take advantage of it. It's too good to pass.
It is. And so the other part, if the committee will humor me just a little bit longer, I hate to take up too much time, but I get excited about things. As far as the middle school, so we've got schedules, again, built where I think we can get that down into 8th grade, definitely 9th grade, where our third block is going to be set up so it has lunch and then different small sections that can be put in there instead of just one big block. We can do a big block if the kid needs it, but otherwise we can break it down into 45-minute sections. One of those year-long or semester-long section would be career explorations, where they will be able to, for 10 days, and see, that's for like 80 minutes, so you can cover a lot of material. 10 days that those kids will study this type of career, nursing. Next 10 days will be pipe fitting. Next 10 days will be welding, and really do career exploration where they begin to see what all is out there and the type of money they can make. So that's definitely being planned out for those kids to become educated. And when we get rid of COVID completely, my goal is to try to get out to some churches and community events and talk to parents, because my hunch is all the parents don't know that these things are available for their kid.
Well, another comment, or it could be a question, is or are these issues being emphasized throughout all of the schools in the area to make sure that the students are aware of this, and so they would want to dig into it and just, I mean, they should have a working understanding of what's available to them, and if it's going to be drummed into their heads, because I know when I was a teenager, it didn't really matter that much to me, but I think maybe it'd be necessary to bring it out over and over again until it would sink in, and it want to advance.
Absolutely. So the answer to that is yes. And one of the ways I want to do that now, again, this has been a COVID year. I don't know what happened before COVID. So I came in during COVID. So I don't know how really it was addressed before. But moving forward, it's definitely going to be at all 4 high schools and then at the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade level. And one of the things we did with that ESSER 2.0 is we had supervisors meetings galore. And one of the main themes that kept bubbling to the surface is to have a career counselor for Carter County and pay them for 3 years out of this CARES money, where their main goal is to be the person responsible for educating our community and educating our kids. So we have that posted as of, I think we posted it Friday. So we're looking for folk to do that job for us. And that would be somebody that is continually putting that out there to kids and parents so they'll know what's available.
Yeah, that's needed. Yeah. You get your doctorate before you were 23 years old, sounds like.
If you were ready to go that direction and knew it, you could. And I've got one daughter that would have loved that, and she would have taken it on. I've got another one who wouldn't. It's not going to be for everybody. But for those kids who it is for, it's a game changer for college.
Amen.
And the other thing, it's a game changer for a kid who knows, I like welding, I like working with cars, or I like painting cars. I've got a nephew, again, I hate to talk too much. When I went in at Christmas and visited a little bit, Will, that's my nephew, he told me that the previous year he went to Chat State, did the thing for auto collision. He's making $75,000. I mean, that is a good living for our kids if we can get them prepared. And a lot of that we can cover their junior and senior year. So I'm excited.
It's too good to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. McAbee?
Yes.
I just wanted to say that you must be already doing something in the schools, because I have had some parents talk to me about how excited they are that some of the counselors are now focusing more on the trades instead of the college path.
Yeah.
That has been being offered to the children more so now. This was actually coming from a few parents that spoke to me. They say it's the first time they've ever experienced, because they've had other kids come through the Carter County school system, that the college path was not pushed upon the child, that they were actually talking about the trades, the welding, the HVAC, the diesel mechanic, the nursing schools, and they were very pleased with that option, and it was actually being discussed with the parents also.
Good.
So there is some movement. If you are having your counselors do that, there is some movement in the community on that. And also, I was just going to support you on what you said, and I think you and I have had this conversation before. When a child that's especially in the 7th or 8th or 9th grade, and they're just beginning to find out where they fit at in the high school life and in their world, finds the niche that they're supposed to do, if it's welding or HVAC, you're going to see that child, I think, excel in everything else because they found something to enjoy. You'll see that D student, I think, rise to an A student because they have found something that they can do and do well. And offering it to the children at such young ages is just an awesome thing for us to start doing. So everything that you're talking about is right in line with everything I agree with for our education system.
Thank you. Yeah, that is exciting. We've had the counselors sit in on meetings with Northeast State and TCAP both. And so that's been beneficial for our principals and counselors. And one more thing that we've got going, I had this in Polk County before I left. It's called a Gear Up Grant. It's a 7-year grant. The gentleman from ETSU with Triad, he's going to help Carter County write that grant. He feels very confident we can get that. And what it is, it's all about career education. So it's for 7 years. They fund 2 people to be over that for Carter County. And again, that part would blend seamlessly with what we're wanting to do with a career counselor. And it's it's hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of grant. And then the other one we're going to apply for next month is called an Innovative High School Grant. It's a $14 million grant. 20 districts will get it. And it ranges from $750,000 to $2 million. And it's all about letting schools have a high school that fits their community. And to me, that's what's exciting, because every place is a bit different. Carter County, to have ETSU like we do, to have TCAT in our back door, to have Northeast State there, all these different things, we need to do high school a little bit different, I think. And if we get that grant, they kind of, reduce the restrictions on you, and for a few years, let you see what you can accomplish. So again, we've got a lot going on in Carter County.
It sounds great. Is there any other questions or anything else for Dr. McAfee this evening? Does anyone have any new business for the Education Committee to discuss? If not, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Profit.
I got a motion by Mr. Tester and a second by Mr. Profit. Is that correct?
That'll work.
I thought you said something, Jerry. Is that what you said?
That's fine. We're going to adjourn.
No, go ahead.
I make a motion we adjourn. I think Mr. Tester beat me on the draw on that. But I'm good.
Guys, before you adjourn, let me tell you again, thank you. This commission, it's been nothing but helpful to me. When I meet with supervisors, they say that it's nothing but helpful to them as when they come to you with issues. So I can't thank you enough for helping us. And I mean, at the end of the day, I wouldn't expect anything different, because we're all in this for students and doing different things. So, but I do want to make the effort to always thank you for what you've done and how you support our schools. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. We really appreciate all the efforts you've made to better our schools, and it really shows in the community. Everyone's very pleased with the way things are going, even throughout this COVID year.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion to adjourn and a seconded motion to adjourn. All in favor of adjourning?
Uh,
All right, well, the education meeting is adjourned. Have a nice night, everyone.